Hey, you guys, how are you? Welcome to another episode of Shakers and Movers. Y'all hear I'm shaking and moving? I had to play my old school music. Hold on. I bet y'all don't know who that is. Y'all don't know who that was. Y'all don't know real R&B. That's all right. How you guys doing today on this lovely Sunday? Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I get a chance to sit down and, as always, chat with you guys. We have a wonderful show. I see one of my featured guests has chimed in. So y'all, if you haven't already, grab your drink. Let's settle down. It's Sunday. You know, it's easy going on Sundays. And hey, everybody that's coming in. So y'all, let me tell y'all a little bit about what's going on with me. You know, I gotta do a little talking before I get our featured guest on. So tell y'all a little bit what's going on with me. I was tired, boss. It's like I don't know how else to put it. I don't know if it's because I'm just old. I turned 41 in November. I don't know. Maybe it's finally caught up with me. And I got as fluffy as my cheesecakes. That might have something to do with it. Or, I don't know. I mean, I got a lot going on. I know people think that once you own a business, that it's just easy going. Oh, man, Todd, I bet you having fun over there. They look like you having fun. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it is fun. Hey, Corey. But you guys tired. Shoot, it takes a lot of work to have fun. Shoot. Anyway. I got my mimosa. This is my time where I settle down and I get to just chill and talk with wonderful people that are making moves and shaking up stuff either in the city or just up and about. Yo, I am. Hey, sissy. Yes, I am doing a lot, but you are too, queen. I swear, it takes people. I love y'all. Oh my God. And that's why I love doing this, because I need this positive energy. Okay. So, I'm going to tell y'all just a little bit about our first guest. We actually have two. In our first segment, y'all already know how this rolls, because Instagram really be hating on you, girl. It literally gives us about an hour. And then it just cuts off. So, we're going to sit down. We're going to talk with first Francheska Felder, who is the owner and editor-in-chief of Swag Her magazine. It is the magazine that she developed. And I can't wait and hear more about how this came about and everything. We're going to ask all kind of questions. If y'all have questions, y'all can just put it in the comment section. And then we got to shut off. And then we got to come back on. And in our second segment, we got John Anthony, who, oh my gosh, I love and adore. He's one of the artists that I met during my humble beginnings as a poet. I met a lot of people in my journey as a poet. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be amongst all these great, wonderful people. So a little bit about Shakers and Movers. I know some people who follow both my shows. I have the Bring Justice to My Rhyme events, Soulful Expression that's virtual, and then also I have Shakers and Movers. The differences between them is, one, I'm not performing. That's a big thing. I'm not, no. Just chilling. But it's an opportunity to just be one-on-one with people, what they got going on. And if they're literally doing something for the community to empower it. I mean, I love to hear performances, and that is soulful expression. But, I really want to talk to people to see what it is that they got going on. So hopefully you can take notes or high five them, because you're on that same path. Either way. So, without further ado, I am about to bring on the lovely Francheska Felder. Let me see if we can make this work, Fancy. I'm sending you an invite. Y'all know how this goes, so just give us a second.
Greetings.
Yes. How are you, Queen?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored. The lighting is perfect. It is not, highlighting the acne in my eyes. I mean, my face. And
you look beautiful. I was like, man, okay. Last night, I knew we were going to do some transformations from last night, but when I saw you when I came on, I was like, I was like, okay,
Girl,
toys
we
good
should
with
have
makeup.
we should have did the challenge. We should have. Yeah. Let me tell you. No, I mean, but you were beautiful regardless. You're beautiful with makeup on or not. But no, y'all know they got this challenge going on. What's it called? The bus sit? The bus sit? I don't know.
Oh yeah, the busted challenge. Yeah, that one.
I have nothing to bust. Bust my ass trying. But but
Yeah.
yeah, we clean up pretty well. Come on, we look good regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you got going on this lovely Sunday? Did you?
Really just I've been trying to catch up on some work, really, and running errands. It seemed like the weekend just not even the weekend anymore. It's work still rolls over into the weekend. And I was laughing at you when you were saying that about how people think, oh, because you got a business and everything, it's just, and I was like, I can totally relate. I've been making a lot of posts about how entrepreneurship really is, because I was one of those people that just kind of like just hopped off the porch thinking it was going to be this, like once you quit the 9 to 5, you think everything ends there, and it is not like that at all. So I've been busy.
So tell people who, like the two people in the world that don't know you, Fancy. Tell them a little bit about what it is that you do.
So I am the publisher, and well, let me restate that. I'm the award-winning publisher and editor-in-chief of Swagger Magazine. And Swagger is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for the Black community. Our purpose is to help Black people change the way that they view themselves and develop a mindset of royalty and wealth, while also assisting Black business owners to basically grow sustainable businesses and be self-sufficient. So with that, like it's twofold. I just thought about it, because oftentimes I know that people think, oh, well, it's just content or we're just news, but also on the side of that, we still offer services as well. So like outside of the fact that we do content is one of our products, we also offer services like PR, branding, and creative services, as well as, the marketing, of course, you can buy advertisement. So we do quite a bit. Anything creative, I like to be able to tap into.
You have a lot of energy.
Not really. I honestly do not. I think it must all be in my brain, and even that's been tired. So I get.
So yeah. Do you sleep? Because look, I got medicine for that.
I actually do though, but I love to get up early in the morning and start my day. Like by 12 o'clock, I might still be working, but I will not be really, focused or into what I'm doing. So yeah, those early mornings, I feel like it's when the magic happens.
That's one of my creative, like either that in the shower or something like that. Your creative juices are flowing.
Yeah.
I do think that some of the most successful people just don't sleep.
The brain. I used to not do that, but I'm not gonna lie. Like it got to the point, and I remember and I might be saying her last name wrong, but Morgan DeBrun of Blavity. And I was listening to this call one day, and she was like, if you still going to sleep with your laptop in your bed, you know what I mean? Like, it's time for you to make some changes. Like, you need to level up. And I was like, oh my God, because I used to be that person, and then you just wake up out the middle of your sleep. Try to get a little bit done.
Put your laptop up.
Yeah, like I've never been one of those that could stay up all night and study for something. That is not me. I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna fall asleep again. But yeah, so.
Well, no, I mean, and when it comes to how my brain, it doesn't shut off. I literally have to get up and text myself whatever is in my brain, be it a verse, because sometimes I have verses going through my head and it will not let me sleep.
I get that. Like I wish I used to kind of get that with poetry. Remember I kind of mentioned to you in our private chat that I do like to dabble with poetry. I have not done so in years, but it used to kind of be that way. Like the verses would come to me. Now it's kind of like I get that way about a post. I might more so make it into a post as to making it into something else. But I've really been struggling to tap back into my writing. Like when we first started the magazine, I used to write like 90% of the content, if not 99.9%. And now, it's I've learned how to gather content in other places, or I've been developing a team of contributors, and so it's kind of different. I'm not gonna say I'm still kind of adjusting to being able to hand out assignments, but I don't write the way I used to, and I really want to get back to that. But now, girl, I'll be like, oh, that's a good story, I should write on it. and it just never kind of, like I even got the Otter app, right, so that I can transcribe my notes and stuff. And I don't know. I've been struggling with it.
I see what Kalisha be, my sis,
I
trying
see
to be in
Kalisha.
the
Hey,
bed and find
Kalisha.
another sleep. But balance is key. That is very true. I read somewhere, especially I just started my business. You've been in business. How long have you been in business?
10 years. We'll be 11 years in July.
And see, look, claps. Everybody should be clapping. I don't know if you're in your living room clapping, but you should, because that's a good thing. Because I've done my research as just a newbie in the entrepreneurship world. Most businesses in their first year, like the first year they start.
Yeah,
I
or
would say
within the
probably
first
about
4, they
50% of
say.
them.
Or within the first
Exactly.
4. But,
So
and I'm
let's
not saying that about you. Don't start thinking that way. Don't think
Oh,
that
no, no,
way.
no. Well, see, I needed to know, why is that the case? Why is it that almost half of the businesses that start their first year quit? Well, one is because they get burnt out. They
Yeah.
get tired. They're burning their fuse on both ends.
Yeah.
Second reason was not adequate planning.
Mm-hmm.
They're not consistent. So I needed to know these different things, so I wouldn't do it. And one of the
Right.
things that I was definitely doing was burning my candle on both ends, because you know it. Like, tell some of the roles that when you first started the magazine compared to what you're doing now. Like,
Ooh, girl, look. And I'm still kind of like trying to transition out of doing them. But before, like I said, I was writing like 99% of the magazine. I was handling the social media. I don't really go out much anymore. But in the beginning, that's how I met Kalisha. I would go out and cover events, in, like, in the city or elsewhere if I could. What else? It just seems like, advertising. And that was one thing. And all of those things are still very much very big parts of my business now. But it's just kind of now that I have a team and I don't write so much for the website or like content for the magazine as much as I kind of like try to get other people to write it. But I also, with our clients, we're writing press releases, we're writing their bios, media kits, we're creating all of that stuff, and all of it comes from scratch, most of the time, because we work with such small businesses that oftentimes they don't have all these materials together, so we're having to create them as they come on board. But my point is, now I'm kind of more so doing a lot of that. I do a lot of pitching, but having a team has really just been, I like to be able to know what's going on at all times. I don't think I'm a micromanager, but I just like to know, because I'm so used to working in all those positions before. And now it's like I'm doing a lot more training too. I'm trying to train the new people that we have coming on board so that they can basically step in and take over. But I still kind of oversee some of everything. So I guess like as you grow, you kind of get more into a managerial position, whereas you're not just looking at. I'm sorry, my son. I told you I have an adult son. Like, it's asking about something.
yeah,
Please
you
grab
was
my
gonna give
purse.
me some
I'm
advice.
so sorry.
No, that's okay. Look,
Yeah.
that you let in a minute you're gonna give me advice about adult sons. So go ahead.
Yeah, but I was just saying that since we've grown, I'm kind of stepping more into a managerial position and overseeing what's going on, But I still, most things still kind of stem from me, and then I'm so grateful to have Jermel, who oftentimes a lot of people see promoting the magazine or just talking, like. He does what he does with marketing. That is my least favorite task. I really hate sales. Like,
Really?
yes.
I would have never guessed it.
Oh my gosh, yes. I absolutely hate sales. I'm like, either you want this or you don't. And what's crazy is my associates is in marketing management. It's in marketing management. But initially I didn't know what marketing was, so I didn't realize that it was sales. I just liked the name of it. So that's basically it. And that's kind of how I got into all of this, just really I didn't know anything about anything that I was doing. I just kind of, that's what I said before. I just kind of jumped out the porch. I knew I wanted a magazine. And everything else is kind of history, I guess. Look, you asked me a question and I've been all around the world sound like it, but My bad.
Look, I told you this is your show. I'm just on it.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you want to talk about, that's what we're going to talk about. But I mean, you highlighted some great things, because what I am finding is that some people who, want to start a business, that don't start a business, the first thing they say was, well, I mean, I'm all right with cooking, or I'm all right with magazines, or I'm all right with, but that's got people that's better, and my favorite quote is saying that hard work beats out talent any day of the week. And I'm not saying that neither one of us have talent. What I'm saying is that I know some talent. You could go outside and throw a football with people that got talent. Talent comes a dime a dozen. However, that person, you know what?
That's
I'm
working towards that.
Jennifer Lopez. No shade, because I love Jennifer Lopez. But that is the hardworkingest, non-singingest, best performance woman in the world, ain't it? I mean, she can't sing to save her life.
Everybody say that. I never really paid it any attention, because I think it is like you said, her work just, it outshines all of that. I never really, I her beauty, so I'm like amazed at how she looks and noticing how she's
51 years old.
I never
that's like no shade, because baby, she killing me in all the areas, right? However, I think I can hold a note better than her, and I know I can't sing. But that's the thing. Like, nobody's asking me to sing. Like, Kalisha, ain't nobody asking me to sing at their wedding. But I'm not going to ask Jennifer Lopez to sing at my wedding either. But, she has Grammys. I mean, the woman is iconic. She is known around literally the world. She sang in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But that is because she's one of the hardworkingest people.
Yeah.
Ever want to meet. So that all that did was just prove my point. Hard work is gonna be our talent.
And
all day, every day.
I believe that as well, because even with you just saying, it just made me think, like, there's a lot that I don't know about magazines. Like, well, I'm not gonna say now. I've learned over the years, of course, because most of my knowledge is self-taught. And actually, I used to always say, well, I never worked for another magazine, but I actually did kind of briefly just do one interview for a magazine that was actually supposed to be a local magazine. I don't know whatever became of the interview, but it was oh my gosh, his name. Oh, he was a rapper that passed. His name just escaped me. But that was the first interview I ever did. Young Reddy. I did an interview with him, and it was like video. It was a video type of interview. And I don't even know what became of it, but that was the most experience I've had with another publication, because I just never really had the time. For me, it was like, I want to do this. I want to publish this magazine. And I just started writing. Actually, I didn't even write it. I started doing video interviews as well. And that's how I began. And I remember like showing it to someone who I thought was knowledgeable about magazines. And she was like, it's good, but you didn't write anything. Now, I used to write as a kid, and I used to write in school. So I've always been a writer, for one. And that's one reason why magazines even interested me. But I say all that to say that I realize that oftentimes I'll meet other people that might have worked for other publications, and they'll be like, oh, I really want my own thing. And I think a big thing about it is just like having that determination, you know what I mean? And that consistency, because oftentimes people will say what they want, but they're not going to make that conscious decision to move forward and actually pursue whatever it is, and work at it. So yeah, I totally agree with you there about the talent versus the hard work. I totally get that.
And I mean, but it does help to have some talent,
Yes, it does. Because if I couldn't write, I wouldn't be able to write all the articles that I've had to write. So, or do any other stuff, So I'm thankful that I had that skill. That's something I've been writing since the first grade. Actually, I wrote my first story in the first grade. I remember
Are
that.
you serious?
Yep, it was a little murder mystery.
Oh my God!
No, not a murder. It was a burglar, like a burglary type of mystery, because it was like the banana thief, And I just remember my teachers being so impressed with it. But I've always loved just, creating different things. Like, for me, I know oftentimes, and that might also be another reason why a lot of people, when you just said that about staying in business, like oftentimes people don't think for them, they'll hit a brick wall and just stop, And it's like, oh, I don't know what to do, or I don't have I've had to create everything that we had. You know what I mean? Like initially, I was even doing the design layouts for the magazine. I know nothing. I mean, now I think I'm a beast at Canva, but that's at Canva. That does not mean that I still can't tell you quite how to set the margins and things like that. But initially, I was the one that was actually doing the magazine layouts, and I don't do that anymore. That's something I passed off to somebody else who actually has gone to school for it, and it makes, and delegation and actually outsourcing, though, I do suggest that too as much as possible. And I know oftentimes people try to suggest that it's like we don't have those type of funds just yet, just starting out in business. And I totally get that too. So my whole thing is I just began to work until I could afford whatever it was that I needed. I worked hard enough to be able to do that.
Like, and you're brilliant. Like I mean, I've actually been admiring you before I realized who you were, because we follow each other on social media, and I love the content that you guys put out. And I don't know why I thought I had met you. I just feel like I know you.
Like, we may have ran into each other at an event or something. I keep thinking, but I don't know. Normally, I recognize my friends when I'm out. So, but I don't know. It might, normally because I'm one of those type of people, like, because I remember even you asking a question once before about having teenagers of a certain age or something, so like when I follow people on Facebook, if I'm doing, I kind of pay close attention. That's why I'm just like, if we met, I just don't remember when it was, because it just seems like I would remember that, but there is no telling now.
There's no telling. I might have to go through my collage of pictures. I probably see, you in the background, like.
Look, I might be somewhere with a mohawk or something, way back in the day. Like,
I'm gonna go check my stuff out. But yes, now look, we were talking about kids. We did have you guys. I know y'all like, what are y'all talking about? I did have an opportunity to talk to Fancy on yesterday, and she brought up the fact that, first of all, she got a grown child. I'm like, but Fancy, you're like 10 yourself. I mean, you look amazing. You look absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
How old are your baby? You don't have just one, right? You have two? How many babies you have?
I actually have three. My son is 21, and then I have two girls. One is going to be 17 this week, and the other one just made 14. Wait, is that right? Maybe she just made 15. These kids are like going, so she just made 15. My youngest made 15. Oh, I feel so bad for getting it. But like, oh my gosh, time is just flying.
My mom wouldn't even say it right now. She'll call me names people she didn't even give birth to. Karen, Jennifer, mama, Toy. You know your name. I named you. So at least you know your name. Right, Karen, Jennifer, yeah, Toy, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, but what is, like, I really want to know. I really want to know, because my son, I have an 18-year-old and I have a 15-year-old. And first advice about 18-year-olds, for people out there who have grown children, what is your advice for us?
To be honest, I am still trying to register it. Seems like it. My son is still at home, but I'm actually grateful for that, because he helps out, as well as I'm not trying to have one of those type of situations where you're a mom that's too dependent on your male adult son, one of them unhealthy relationships, because a lot of times that does happen, especially I think within the Black community. We've discussed that kind of on podcasts before, but really it's kind of like having to step back a lot, and realize that he has to make, or that they have to make, their own decisions now. You can't just force things on them. And he has even told me before, like, Mom, I kiss them out. Like, you can't just, and I'm like, oh, right. You know what? I do have to remember that. But I think that has been possibly like the biggest thing. I think it's a difference between adult children, like boys and girls, I think that when my daughter is an adult, it's going to be totally different. With my son, especially being sons, sons and mamas and so on, I just kind of think he's going to still I'm not gonna say hang around to be babied, but kind of still along the lines of that. But girls, it seems like just because I know how my soon to be 17-year-old is she's very independent. You know, she's one of those that's ready to save her money. If she sets her mind, she sets goals and goes for them. You know, my son, he's not really into all of that just yet. I'm still trying to, I guess, prepare him. But one thing I will say is, and that I don't believe is, like within the Black community, that oftentimes when our kids become of adult ages, we just push them out the house, you know. And I know we've been having more conversations about that, but I'm kind of like, take your time, because I remember I wasn't kicked out the house, but I was just so ready to go, and I had no idea again what I was getting into. And had I taken that time to adjust, you know, I think that that would have really made a big difference in my life, and I would have started off on better footing. And so with that being said, I think it's a little bit of stepping back and allowing them to be them. When they need you, they're gonna come and ask for advice. You know what I mean? And then I think oftentimes, sometimes their pride might not allow them to ask for advice, but you're gonna know something going on because your mama. You know what I mean? So you still get the opportunity to step in and be like, hey, but make it more so like it's their decision, or just be, I try to be respectful of the decisions that my kids make. You know, I see them as little people, not just as, and look, I say little people because now I've been saying that for years, since they were younger, trying to respect their thoughts and so on. And now they're actually teenagers and adults. So, but it's still, you know, the love is still the same. The I don't think the worries and concerns, especially having a young Black male, that does not change at all, you know.
I was
So
going to ask you that. Do you feel like the fact, I mean, because you do have a Black son and you do have daughters, you know, do you feel like you protect him more, or that you know, worry about him more than your daughters?
I think I worry about him more than my daughters. I worry about my girls because, yeah, I do worry about my girls. You know I have two very beautiful daughters. People are always telling me that, and I'm, you know, initially it used to be okay, but now, especially as of age, I'm just kind of like, you know, and them telling me, oh, I ran into so and so somewhere, and I didn't like how they looked at me. You know, it is concerning. Initially, I wasn't so much worried about it that way, but I realized, and that's one reason why I stopped posting my daughter as much. But with my son, I mean, he's dark skinned, he has dreads, you know. I worry all the time. You know, he's one of those love to put his hood on his head. I'm constantly trying to tell him, you know, not to do that. And it's a shame that we even have to say those sort of things. But at the same time, I'd rather say it and make certain that he's being mindful of his surroundings and being aware than not say it, you know. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's so much out there for our kids. I mean, and it's not even all just those dangers, you know. It's just even the fact of how materialistic we are as a society now, you know, and just them watching all of that and trying to assure them that they're still good enough regardless if they have all of that or if they don't, you know. Because there was times, and I say this, you know, I've talked about it before publicly, but even with the magazine, we have been homeless several times, you know. Like 2016 is really about when I began to get my life more stable. Like when I started the magazine, I was actually dancing at kittens, you know. Like that's how I met a lot of the people that, you know, that I interviewed and that's how I began to network with people and meet other people. But I say that to say, like, when I first moved to Baton Rouge from Macomb, it was just like moving to the city and not being prepared at all. You know, I don't know if I've ever been totally prepared for anything in life, but and maybe that's why now I'm so big on like, oh, we got to plan this out. We got to write this out, you know, because beforehand I was always just, oh, I think I want to do this. And then I just, you know, and I'm not going to say I just go for it. I would just be stupid enough to go for it. You know what I mean? Like I would be so blind, like, and so naive that I would just get into situations and And God would always, my mom has always said, like, there's a shield that protects us. And I really believe that that's so, because there's so many situations that I could have been harmed in, or I could have even possibly been killed, you know. But my naiveness and my just, I guess, my positive vibes, always just really trying to do right still, regardless of the situation, has really held me down. So, yeah, my life has been, one of these days I'm gonna write like a book, but I just feel like still trying to get to that pinnacle, or, you know, like that pivotal point. I need to make my character arc or something, you know. I'm still working on that.
Lord, no. Write it. Write a page at a time. And then
Yeah.
one day just, here you go, here's your, because I think what happens is we get overwhelmed with the finished product, because, you know, me, I can't tell you how many unfinished books I have. I mean, I don't know what it is about the number 250. I will literally stop at page 250. My character, I
Are you
have one
serious?
character who's been in the rain for 20 years. I mean, he's probably drowned now. Okay.
Wow.
250. Let's just say just that. So, you know, I feel like we get overwhelmed with the end product, the end game. But, you know, you said something about, I just was talking to a friend last night, the word zeal. Zeal, your zest for life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're full of life. You're full of energy, you know, and that's
Yeah,
never a bad. And what we view as a weakness in ourselves is actually our strength. Maybe used at the wrong time, but it's not a weakness. You know, the fact that
I
you look at
agree.
everything in bright eyes, you know, in rainbows, I do too. My little sister who was on, she's my polar opposite. She's a pessimist, which is not a bad thing either, because you need somebody to tell you, no, come back down off the
True.
cloud. Because you're gonna hurt
True.
yourself. And I just saw this. So, you know, and also pessimists live longer. I read that somewhere.
Wait,
negative
what
people
was
negative people actually live longer than positive people. What is that about? I don't know. But anyway,
probably because they
I don't
don't
know.
be concerned. I don't know. Now
Or
that you
they
say
always
that,
like already just know now that not a good idea, and then we'll probably be like, oh no, it is. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I read somewhere that they live longer, but I mean, as long as I'm happy and I'm
right,
doing what I, because I'd rather regret something I did than something I didn't do. You
right.
know, we're getting into those middle age years. I should have told
Yes.
nobody then. No, we're not, y'all. I'm lying. No, look, I already said earlier I'm 41, damn it.
Look,
So
I
look at
was
this.
just thinking that, I'm like, well, you did tell them, but
You already told the
I always,
world. What?
I always love like how Dr. Maya Angelou, you know, that she lived a full life, and that was something that I learned early on from her. Like, I would much rather die knowing that I did everything that I wanted to do, as opposed to dying with regrets. And I read all her books like at a very young age. I probably shouldn't have even been reading them, you know, but I did. And so it just really, it's so crazy how at times I look at things in my own life and I'll be like, you know what? Did this happen because you read this in her book, and this thought you never got that thought out of your head? Because I honestly believe that I have done that. You know, there are so many situations that have occurred in my life that were similar to hers. But my point is, I can at least say, you know, hey, but I feel like even now, and I think it is because I am getting closer to 40, I'm kind of going through this. I was wondering today, like, okay, am I going through midlife crisis, or is this just the pandemic? You know, I don't know. But I was ready kind of to take the reins on my life, I think, last year, start back going places, because I hadn't really been anywhere in the past few years. I've just been trying to, like I said, been really regroup and get stable and grounded. So now that I'm like, okay, y'all ready. And then it's like, oh, the world is shut down. You know, not right now, sis. Hold off. I don't know. So I'm like, okay, it's something. It's a
So do
lot
you
to
feel like,
unpack or deal with right now.
because you know, I had this conversation too with some friends about the difference in generations. You know, I'm in Generation X, and I think the in year Generation X is 1982, I think, or something like that. And then so I think that you intro the millennials, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you feel like, because in my opinion, the millennials, that's Generation Y. I think the youngest might be 30, no, 25 maybe, and then
Um,
it's Z generation? I think like your son's age might kick off the Z generation.
Yeah, I think he does. And actually, because I always thought the millennials were more like Gen X too. I mean, it's 1984. I know that it's still like how the ages, the years don't cut off exactly like in a perfect year or something.
They
But
kind of like do. But the thought
what were
process.
you about to say?
Well, it's all about the thought processes. So the people in the Generation X, which is me, we weren't born with computers in our house. Like that was foreign. Matter of fact, Google was the encyclopedia, and everybody didn't have encyclopedias in their house. It was just if you was fortunate that you had the whole encyclopedia mentality. Now you got Google, right?
Yeah.
But Generation Y, that was the year that everybody had microwaves. Some people were having more computers, but Generation Z, everybody got a computer, and damn near everybody got a phone. We have phones.
Yep.
If I try to call you, that means I called your house, and then I walk around with like 25 different numbers in my head. Don't nobody walk around with phone numbers in their head anymore.
Not at all. Just your mama, or or if you have a spouse, then your spouse. But yeah, that's about it.
And you know what that's saying? Somebody asked me the other day, babe, what's your husband number? I'm like,
oh goodness. Now you're supposed to
I don't know.
this, man. But
Right.
I know because honestly, if they didn't have the number like 10 years ago or something, I probably don't remember it. But the crazy thing is some people actually, I mean, well, it's crazy to me because I've had a lot of numbers, but I have a lot of friends that have had the same numbers for years. I think my best friend actually, like when her mom passed, I think she moved into her house. I think she still got that number, girl. So that might be like 30 some years that she's had that number.
And you still
if
know
not
the number,
more
huh?
so. Yes.
Exactly. I still remember our first telephone number. I remember all of that because those numbers was imprinted in our head. And then my mama used to tell me, baby, I always keep a quarter on you just in case you need to call home. If I told my kids something like that, they're like, what are you talking about? I got my cell phone. What I need a quarter for?
Girl, look, imagine how your kids trying to give that quarter to somebody to they gonna be sitting there like,
Right.
baby, what's this? What is this for?
Yeah, I don't know what is a quarter. They don't even use quarter. They use debit. Kalisha said, been having the same number since my first phone at 17. Girl, wow, that means Kalisha. For 5 years, because Kalisha ain't that old. Oh, y'all, Kalisha Brown is having a birthday. I guess you're going to tell us later what's going down pandemic-wise. How we're going to have a virtual party or whatever for you, Kalisha. But anyway, we're all coming to a close with Fancy, because I know Fancy, first of all, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, chat, that
Thank you.
And getting the opportunity for not just your audience, but my audience to kind of grasp like what is going on. Like, okay, the word empowerment, because we was talking about that privately. I was talking about how Black women, I want to see what your opinion is about it. Do you feel like it is a myth that we don't support each other? Is it just something that people say? Or do you really feel like that we really need to do a better job of it? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Actually, I think before maybe we didn't support each other as much. And I'm not going to act like, just everybody's also supporting now. But I have really I've met a lot of women that just supported me, and it would just, I didn't even know really what support was. You know what I mean? I didn't understand why they did it or whatever the case may be, but that's even partly how the magazine got started, because women were telling me their stories to uplift me and, inspire me to keep going when I was going through so much in life. And I felt like, hey, if other women knew about this, maybe they would, or especially knew that life, everybody goes through these struggles, that they would be able to navigate better in life as well. So I believe in us sharing our stories. But I said that to say that before, it seems like we were talking about women's empowerment, but I don't think I was seeing it as much. But I'm starting to see like a different trend, and I really like it. Just women supporting other women without any hidden agendas or intentions. You know what I mean? Because that used to be a really big thing. And then now, and I mentioned this kind of to you last night, I know oftentimes people make those posts about how, you know, you talking about women empowerment, but your actions don't align with that. And I've really had to do some self checks for myself. You know, initially when we started the magazine, we used to be like, "Oh, women shouldn't wear this," and "Oh, cover yourself." And then as I started really thinking about it, and keep in mind, but that's really how I did get out the strip club, because I felt really confused about that. I was like, on in the real world, here I am here trying to tell people, oh, don't dress like this and respect yourself and this and that. And then at night I have to go to this. So I said that to say that made me realize, like, just overall, life, I don't think life is black and white. It's color. You know what I mean? When people say they don't see color, I feel like they're lying some kind of way. How could you possibly not see color? Because there's so many, not everyone's circumstances or situations are the same. But I think now we're being more open to that, but also, with that being said, that made, as I was trying to say, that it made me have to check myself and just really realize that at times, whereas I thought I might have been empowering other women, I may have not been empowering other women. I might have actually been making them uncomfortable, or making them feel bad, or making them feel like I'm putting them down, because I didn't see them, whatever their decisions were, as being what I thought to be ideal. And I just realized, like, now we all have our own lives. We don't know what elements makes up another person's life. So therefore, we really can't just be judgmental in that sense. And I think more women are starting to come to grips with that as well. And I really that. But I do still think there is room for improvement. Yes, I do believe there is. Especially with these events too. Not but we haven't even been doing events, but I mean, just in the past, like, it would, I say there's room for improvement, because for one, there's people that put on some really good women empowerment events and nobody attends, and then at the same time, we're doing women empowerment events when it's really men now. It's our black men who need to be empowered some type of way. I think that these events that we're having, we need to be able to have men come into them. Oftentimes, maybe women aren't comfortable with that, but I do believe that the men need to be there in attendance, because oftentimes, I know just from past relationships, I've brought my spouses along to different events, and they would be like, "Man, I didn't even think that woman, if you just looked at her, you wouldn't think that she went through all of that, and or man, she really had to go through this, and this man really did that to her," or whatever the case may be. But it's like eye-opening to black men when they actually attend these events, and I like that. I wish that we could get more of that involved. So while I do believe women empowerment is a really big thing, but at the same time, I think that we also need to be empowering our men as well. I don't really know how to do that because I'm not a man, but if there are some men out there, I always be like, get your brother.
And be open. And then also too, again, Fancy, tell everybody where to follow you. Because in the future, I'm sure it sounds like it's in the making that you're probably going to end up doing an event like that. So let everybody know how they can get in contact with you.
Okay, so you all can first off visit the website. That's swagher.net. That's SWAGHER.net. And then on all social media, we are Swagher. That's SWAGHER magazine. And for myself, everything is listed as Fancy Swagger. That's FANCYSWAGHER. And yeah, and also I have my Linktree, but that's Linktree with the little slash Fancy Thoughts. So also, if you search Fancy Thoughts, or if you the hashtag or the Swagger magazine hashtag, you'll pull up years worth of content. Also, I just want to show y'all right quick the magazine. Yes, so this is our latest issue that we have. We just did our second print for these, so we won't be printing any more of these.
Where can we get one?
You can purchase on our website. You can purchase the print copies on our website at swagger.net, and then you can read digitally on issue.com/Swagger magazine, or / whichever the slash is, Swagger magazine.
You sound like me. Does it go
I never know which way to call it, but yeah.
Until I'm typing, whatever way it leads.
Oh,
but no, show your magazine again, please.
Oh.
I cut you off.
Oh, it's fine. So this is the latest issue. I'm sorry, it's like a little glare there when I bring it up toward the
No,
light.
I
But it
see.
has Leah Diaz of Married to Medicine LA was our cover. Um, this issue was about gratitude and grace. So we include like basically every magazine has a theme. So we'll discuss that, of course, with our cover story, but we also include other content that may be, you know, close to that theme as well. But we did also just do our 10-year anniversary issue, and I feature myself as the cover. And my
I love
co-hostess
it.
and friend Anya actually interviewed me, and we talked about imposter syndrome and just my life and my work. But this issue also was really good because we talked a lot about healing in this issue. So that mental health and Black business are like, two of our biggest themes that we're always discussing.
Well,
So yeah.
Fancy, you don't know how much I appreciate you, and you have given us a wealth. I feel like I needed another segment just talk because there were so many questions I wanted to ask. So I'm like,
Look, whenever you want me back, let me know. I'm just glad for one to be able to do something within the Baton Rouge community. That's why when I saw what you were doing, I was like, oh my gosh, I really got to do this. And I told Anya about it because, just I've been here in Baton Rouge for some years, but I'm still not quite in the community. And I would like to get more into the art community. I just need to first get out the house. So I'm not going to act like I haven't been invited. I just don't get out the house. So yeah.
well, go to Bring Justice. When I say go to Bring Justice to My Rhyme events, literally just go to the Bring Justice to My Rhyme page and click on the live link because that's where I do my. That's
Okay.
what I've been doing my events. That's what. So yes, and you're invited. There you go. That's your invitation. So
Thank you. I'm gonna
you
check it
guys,
out.
the lovely, the wonderful Fancy Felder. Yay! I am so happy, so excited. Thank you so much again, Fancy. I really
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
All that you're
Thank you, and
doing.
peace and blessings.
All right, you too. So, you guys, y'all already know how this rolls. Instagram about to cut me off, so I'm going to end this segment and then start it in literally like 30 seconds to get our next guest on. But oh my gosh, let me like, because Fancy, wasn't she just amazing? I mean, and she's just like this burst of energy, this burst of light, and I felt like just talking to her for the 30, 40 minutes we was talking, I already feel like, dang, that's some stuff I need to do. Just being in her midst already just motivated me to want to do some other stuff. So hopefully that was rewarding to you as it was to myself. I love doing these. But anyway, so literally, I'm about to cut it off, come back on, 30 seconds. So you got 30 seconds to go get your drink, go use the bathroom, and I'm gonna be right back. All right.